Let's look lively.
I look lively here real quick, huh? All right, let's go. I would never condone such things. Hello, I am Randy, owner of Randy's Transmissions. I'm here to answer some questions for you guys. So about 2 weeks ago, we put a post on Instagram and Facebook asking you guys some questions about transmissions, tuning, diesel trucks, that sort of thing. So we are here today to answer the top 20 questions out of those posts. Let's get to it. So anytime people ask about tuning and how much power a truck can take, it's kind of a loaded question. It really just depends on driving style, also the quality of the tune. The biggest thing that we're seeing right now is manipulation of D-fuels with a lot of these tuners. AS69s, they are slow shifting, they're a little clumsy, they rely on D-fuels to keep them alive. So keeping stock D-fuels in the file is very important. When you start modifying those, you can really shorten the life. Everybody's a little different. We have customers that tune and delete them and they'll smoke a trans in 3,000 miles. I have guys with hundreds of thousands of miles. So it's hard to say and justify that, well, we know it's going to live this long at this power level. Anytime you go past stock parameters, you're taking a risk. That's really what it is. So maximum power through a 68 with a valve body, obviously it's going to depend on the health of the trans initially. Assuming the clutches and everything's healthy inside of the transmission and you do a valve body with good tuning, they should be able to handle tune and deleted for quite a while. Now, of course, it's all subjective. Like if you go out and beat the hell out of the truck, yeah, it may not. Once again, everybody has a different story. Some people tune and delete them and go hundreds of thousands of miles. Some tune and delete them, smokes them in a few thousand miles. So it really is subjective. But the best thing you can do for the money is put a baby maker in, get the proper trans tuning, and you're going to give those clutches the extra holding power that they need to hold that extra torque and horsepower you're requesting out of the engine. Okay, so tuning options. There is called a tuneless kit in the 68 RFE. What that does is it allow you to get increased line pressure without actually going in and modifying the tune file inside of the computer. There's two options. So we offer both valve bodies that require tuning, and then we also offer our transmissions so that you don't have to try to fine tuning. It increases the line pressure, you have better holding capacity. Now the things that it doesn't fix, it doesn't have low sprag holdout, so you don't have the sprag fix in there. You also don't have the increased shift points in the 5th and 6th gear, so you do lose that. But you definitely gain the holding power, and there's no manipulation of the software required. So that's a great option for people that have stock trucks that just working really hard, that want something a little bit better, or even trucks that do have tunes where you're not able to get an updated tune for trans tuning. Those also work well for that, and I think they both serve a purpose and they both work well. So I would say that's going to be a toss-up between a 6R140 and an AS69. They both are pretty robust transmissions. With Ford, the nice thing is you can go in, if you have good trans tuning, you can increase the line pressure through TCM tuning. Those things actually will hold quite a bit of power for some time. That's a pretty good transmission. Now when you're talking the newer 10 speeds, there's not enough data collection on those. The 10 speeds on the Duramaxes definitely seem to be prone to failure with tuning. The Fords, we haven't seen too many of those yet. So we're still collecting data on those, but as it sits, current model year, it's definitely subjective. There's just not enough data out there to say, how the 10 speeds are holding up versus, we just don't have that kind of data yet, but we will soon. In the next probably year or two, we'll know a lot more. I always recommend a regear. Even I know on 68 RFEs it's required for warranty, anything above 35s. There isn't a truck out there that I wouldn't recommend regearing if you're going to go to a 37 or bigger tire. They just work better when you go to the proper gearing and the proper tire size. So I always recommend that. That's going to also dictate, of course, tire size. It's going to dictate how much you tow, that sort of thing. we can give you a generalized idea, like if you do call in and you want to order a transmission, we have some formulas, but everybody is a little different depending on what the truck is used for. But there is some parameters, like we know, like on a 68, a 37-inch tire, we're going to be looking for, you know, 430s or 410s at the very least. So there's, once again, that's kind of subjective to driving styles and habits and what the truck's being used for. Never. ever. So that's a good question. Once again, it's subjective. How hard are you running the truck? If you are looking to go to the racetrack at 850 horsepower, you're going to be happier with a 48 RE. If you are looking to just putt around town and mess around with some people on the road and you still use your truck day to day, you are going to be more happy with the 68 RFE. Now, there's this misconception that a 48 RE, the swaps are, they're not unbreakable. You beat a 48 RE hard enough at 900 horse, you're going to break it too. So I mean, nothing's unbreakable. What's going to break faster? It just really depends on how you're using the truck. 48 REs are more simple. Obviously, they are going to be a little stronger, but they're not the end-all answer. So it really depends. If you're looking for that option and you're calling in, the best thing to do would be explain to our sales guys, you know, what you do with the truck, what you're wanting out of it, and then we would recommend either staying with the 68 or swapping to a 48. Now, these things are holding pretty good around 850, 900 horsepower. They're not a forever trans at that power level. They're going to require a reclutch eventually, especially if you do a lot of long, hard highway pulls in between shifts. So, you know, that's something to consider, but we can definitely help set you up in the right direction if you call us. I'm always going to be a fan of the AS69 just because they are so much bigger and so much more robust. But if you're using your truck and you like to have the responsiveness and the faster shifting trans, and you don't want to feel like you're driving a school bus, which you cannot get away from on an AS69, then a 68 RFE is going to be just fine, especially with a valve body upgrade and some good tuning or a built unit. 68 RFEs, definitely more options. They're a lot more drivable. They're a little more fun around town. You don't have the massive shift delays and that funky 1-2 that everybody complains about. But nothing beats an AS69 for towing compared to a 68. That's to me, that's not even a comparison on heavy loads. There's a little bit of math to that, I guess. It would depend on how hard the truck's been ran. In general, you just want to keep up on your services. It would really depend on the fluid condition and if it's been really hot, really overworked, and that sort of thing. So like, there's always going to be risk at that level when you do a fluid swap out that it's going to that it can cause problems. It's a little bit more rare. Especially if the truck's a little newer, but definitely just try to follow the maintenance guidelines for sure and stick by those. Otherwise, it might be a pan drop and seeing if it's all, you know, seeing how varnished and dirty it is and make that call there. But usually a pan drop and a filter change, you're a lot more safe. I never recommend flushes ever. Pan drop and filters are sufficient. That's a good question. There's been so much change in the last 5 years as it is. It's already getting wild. I mean, ECMs are getting locked out. People are not able to get into them anymore. Tuning these things are getting harder and harder. Of course, we have the whole EPA thing that has shut down a lot of the good tuners, and everybody's kind of hiding right now, and that's definitely made it difficult. Man, in the next 15 years, with the way the EPA and the government's going with electric and all that, I mean, I don't know, but I know that it's getting harder to work on these vehicles. The OEM is trying to make it so difficult that the average shop cannot work on these vehicles. In 15 years, I think you're going to see a completely different automotive industry than what you see today. I don't think you'll even recognize it. So those that are always asking about Allison swaps, My opinion is I am not for them. There's a couple reasons. I'm not going to go into great detail. Anytime that you modify a truck and you add external aftermarket electronics, you're going to have problems down the road eventually. And also you are limited, severely limited to people that can work on that vehicle as well. So when you start having problems, you are going to be driving very far to find a service center that can repair that. So I just think that long term, it's not worth adding all the extra wires, all the extra aftermarket control boxes, and it's not cost effective, in my opinion. So the reason that I wouldn't do that is because we've put so much work and energy into our dealers and our stocking dealers, and we work so closely with them, and we work hand in hand with them to offer our products to our customers. We really just rely on our dealer network to facilitate all of our, to be able to handle all of our customers across the lower 48 states. So I think probably not going to see that. We're going to keep investing in our dealers and our dealer network. And using those guys, you have full support through them and us as well. So it actually works out pretty nicely. So I think we're going to probably keep going that direction. So everybody's dealing with parts problems right now across the entire industry. For us, because we specialize in a series of certain transmissions, it's a little easier to control the inventory. We can buy in bulk. We can stock parts and stuff, and that's a little easier for us. People that are doing general repair, that's a little harder. There's a lot more part numbers involved in that. The best thing I can say is if you have jobs that you're known for and you're going to be doing consistently, you've got to start building up inventory. And build those relationships too, so that you do have those relationships when you need help or you're really in a pinch, that you can go to these people and kind of ask, hey man, we're really hurting for this, what can you find or what can you do? So relationship building and inventory is huge right now. In short, I understand that a lot of people are facing these problems, which is why we stock a lot of parts. We help a lot of the smaller shops out that can't necessarily get things. If it's for the three major diesel manufacturers, generally we try to keep everything in stock. And we've really been fortunate enough to have those relationships and the buying power with a lot of these bigger companies, and it really trickles down. We really try to help these littler guys that don't necessarily have the buying power to keep everybody going, and that's definitely been it's been a bounce, but we're happy to be able to help with that in some way, shape, or form. Well, the added power, the added torque, anytime you add, like I've always said this, anytime you go out of OEM parameters, you risk. They're designed to hold a certain amount of power. The formula is all there. They know this many clutches, this amount of pressure, this size of piston is going to hold X amount of power. Well, OEM, most of them love riding that thin white line. And when you cross that, all it takes is one slip on a clutch, you glaze it, it's over. It's never going to hold the same again, and it's just going to continue to slip under power, and then you basically burn out your clutches. So that's just the harsh reality. Well, I've always had an entrepreneur bug ever since I was a little kid. I always wanted to own my own business. I'll be honest, I hate being told what to do. That's always been a real problem for me, an authority problem. That was why I wanted to be self-employed. And then as I got older, I understood that being an entrepreneur it's great in a lot of ways. Yes, it's hard, but it's also amazing because you get to surround yourself with people that you choose in your team, that back you up and share your visions with you. You basically create an army of like-minded people pushing a business forward, and then you have the ability to start offering more opportunity to employees, and it's really fun. You get to be creative. You get to man, you get to have dreams in your head and you can make them come to life. It's very fulfilling. You know, there's a lot of hard things about it, but there's more great things. I couldn't imagine doing anything different, and I've worked normal jobs for the first part of my life, and knew I was never going to be happy doing that. So I thought I could do it better, so I gave it a shot, and you know, so far I've done very well, and very, very blessed with the people I have around me pushing this business forward. So that's it's not for everybody, but boy, it can sure be fulfilling. Success, a lot of my success comes from, I know what it's like to have nothing, not a pot to piss in, no money, broke, digging through couch cushions for gas money, standing in line at Check City, floating a check so you can get groceries, you know, for your family before payday. I know what it's like to just have absolutely nothing, and I hated it. I never wanted to be like that. It was the driving force started with me not wanting to be poor, and then it turned into so much more than that. It's not just about the money anymore. It's about building up, you know, and I touched base with this in the other question, but it's building a team of amazing people up around you that share the same love and visions that you have for a place, and being able to grow something to be proud of that other people get to be a part of with you. So that's what it's kind of turned into, but definitely I love what I do. We are always looking for talent. We're growing, we're evolving, we're turning more to more technology now than we ever have. We're always looking for high caliber people with high skill sets. As we continue to grow, we are definitely in more need of high skilled employees, so we're always looking. Key to a successful business. Well, I could probably talk about this for half a day, but in short, it's having a team of people around you that can carry you through your hard times. Also, putting people in places. Everybody has weaknesses and strengths. For me, I put people in place where I knew I had weaknesses that had skill sets where I knew I was lacking, and so being able to do that has allowed me to focus on my strengths while I know my weaknesses are still being nurtured and carried by a team of people. But success comes with a price. You know, you definitely are, and like I said, I could talk about this forever, but you know, there's a lot of heartache, there's a lot of friendship loss, there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of emotions involved, and it seems like at every level you find something new to have to deal with. So it's exciting, but it definitely isn't for the faint of heart. There's some hard days, you know, for sure, but if you keep your head up and for me, like, I'm in so far now, like, all I can do is keep pushing forward and making all these businesses better for the people that are involved in them, and that right there is true success to me, to be able to help provide an awesome experience in life to the people that are behind you, that walk beside you. All right, well, that wraps up the questions. I think I pretty much touched base with the most important questions that I could gather out of what you guys were asking. Sorry if I missed, you know, some. My time's limited, but we just want to say thank you to all of our customers and all of our supporters. We appreciate you guys. Also, we have some cool stuff coming up with 2015. I know you guys love our crazy videos and us pushing our vehicles to the limit. We haven't forgotten about that. We're planning some really cool stuff with that truck, so you are going to want to stay tuned for that. And in general, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, give our sales team a call. Let us know if we can help you with, you know, directions of what transmission you're looking for, or any kind of setup questions. You know, we're here for our customers, and happy to help. Other than that, everybody have a wonderful day.